Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we are making a hearty breakfast skillet.
It's the all-free whole food plant-based cooking show.
Okay guys, so I have a great breakfast recipe for you today. So this is a super hearty breakfast. I tend to like a lighter breakfast, but sometimes you just want something really filling and, just hearty, right? And this can be for some of your bigger eaters at home, if they want more than just soaked oats. So the main ingredients here today, we have potatoes, mushrooms, peppers, and zucchini. And then we have the wonderful ingredient for our protein, which is tempeh. And if you've never had tempeh, this is a great opportunity to try it out. Super tasty, and because of its strong flavor, once you mix it in with all of this other stuff, it's going to be a bit more mild. So your first experience is going to be great. So what I have here, I have 2 baking sheets already lined with parchment paper because we're going to bake all of this stuff. Instead of frying it in a skillet, which it's typically done, we're going to bake it. So what we're going to get going first is I have a half a cup of low sodium vegetable broth here, and I usually use Engine 2. That's a good brand that's usually low sodium, and it doesn't have oil in it. And then I have some spices here. So I have cumin, smoked paprika, parsley flakes, thyme, and pepper. So it's a teaspoon of each, except the thyme is a half teaspoon and the pepper is a half teaspoon. So we're just going to get that into the broth, stir it up a little bit. And then I have 4 russet potatoes here, just cubed up, little cubes, bite-sized pieces. We're going to toss that in there. Instead of using oil, this is what we're going to cook the potatoes in. So we're just going to mix this up a bit. Just get those spices coating the potatoes, vegetable broth coating the potatoes. And I already have my oven preheated to 400 degrees, so it's ready to go. Okay, so once you get them coated well, now we're not gonna pour this out because there's still liquid in the bottom and we need that remaining liquid. So we're just gonna scoop them out onto our cookie sheet here. Leaving that liquid in the bowl. Okay, and I'm roasting the potatoes separate because sometimes your vegetables cook a little bit faster than your potatoes. It just depends on your potatoes. So we're just going to spread them out really good. And then we're going to move on to our veggies. So I'm going to slide that out of the way because they're both going to go in at the same time. So if you see here, I still have a bunch of remaining liquid. All those spices are still there. We're going to toss our vegetables in that. So I've got 1 box of mushrooms. They're already sliced. And then I have the equivalent of 2 peppers. So this is completely up to you. I like the mixed peppers. This is just frozen mixed peppers, yellow, red, and green. But if you don't like the green ones, some people don't like the green onion or green peppers. Use whatever peppers you like. And then I have 2 small zucchinis. The same thing, cubed up in little bite-sized pieces. That in there. Do the same thing. Just stir to coat it all. And we're gonna, when we bake them, it's gonna wick all of that moisture out of these guys. So instead of frying it in oil, which is gonna seal that moisture in, we're gonna bake it, which is much, much healthier. You don't need all that extra fat from the oil. Okay, same thing. We're just going to spread it out on our cookie sheet, but now we can pour it because all that liquid and all those spices are on the vegetables. Oops, flopped a couple of those out. And this recipe, I have a family of 4, so this recipe is kind of large. So if there's only a couple of you or one of you, you might want to just split this in half And then you'll have enough for a couple meals. You'll have one for a meal now, and you'll be able to have leftovers for the next day. So you don't have to cook breakfast the next day. Or you could eat it for dinner. That's what I like. Okay, so our oven's on 400. We're gonna pop them in for a half an hour. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share with you some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is a crowd-funded show, which means our content is made possible by the generous patronage of our paid membership community, who share our common goal to teach the world how to easily and permanently switch to a plant-based diet. My husband and I create these free weekly cooking shows to share all of the delicious recipes that we use every day in our own family kitchen. Our recipes are now used by hundreds of thousands of viewers every month from all over the world. Our paid memberships offer additional perks like access to our ebooks and in-depth courses, including our 28 Days Plant-Based Made Easy course, where we offer a step-by-step guide to making the switch to a fully plant-based diet. With meal plans, shopping guides, daily learning materials, and over 65 of our favorite recipes. If you love our content and find it's helping you to live your best plant-based life, please join us on our mission to share this life-changing message with the world and become a supporting member today by following the link in the description. It is the continued growth of our supporting member community that makes this show possible. Okay, let's get back to the show. Okay guys, so our potatoes and our vegetables are already done cooking, so the only thing that's left is to cook our tempeh. So we're going to do that in the pan. So I've got a cup of vegetable broth, and I've got my pan on about medium high, and then we're going to do a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then a teaspoon of onion powder. And I mean, this really lends itself to any vegetable that you like. You could add onions to here too, but that's why I'm adding onion powder to here, because it's such a great flavor. And then we're gonna do about a half teaspoon of cracked pepper. And if you like it a little bit more spicy, you could put some chili powder or some cayenne powder or something like that. But I like to add that at the end. I like to put hot sauce on my serving. Okay, so that's about good. I also wanted to show you, this is the brand of tempeh that we use. This is just what happens to be at Whole Foods right now, is Light Life. You can use whatever kind you can find. This is a great food for gut health because it's a fermented food, so that's gonna really help your digestion. So same thing, I just cubed up the tempeh in little teeny pieces. You could crumble it up too and make it more like, like a ground meat. So we're just gonna cook this in this sauce for 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna add all the rest of the stuff. Okay, so our tempeh has been cooking for about 5 minutes, and essentially what you want is almost all of that liquid to be cooked into the tempeh. You want there to still be just a little bit left, but most of it is cooked into the tempeh. So now we're gonna add a tablespoon of liquid amino acids. You could use tamari or low sodium soy sauce to give it that salty flavor. Okay, and now we're going to add our potatoes and vegetables. So that's the handy thing about this cooking this stuff on parchment. You can kind of just pick up the parchment, roll it a little bit, and then just pour it in. It's a little bit easier. The potatoes work that easy, but the vegetables are a little bit more difficult because there's still a lot of juice left in them. So we're gonna have to scrape that in. Boy, I wish you guys could smell this right now. That smoked paprika is really the key. It's gonna give you that really smoky, Oh, just roasted smell, roasted flavor. All these amazing vegetables. What a hearty breakfast. You can't really get much healthier than that. Okay. Now we're just gonna stir that up. We're just gonna let it cook on there just a little bit, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes or so to coat that liquid in it and to get it all kind of the flavors all melding together. So I'm gonna let that cook for a couple minutes and then I'll meet you at the table. Okay, my favorite part, the tasting. Oh, yum. So like I said, I like to have mine with a little bit of hot sauce. So this is just Cholula hot sauce. Love this stuff. This gives a little bit of pow, right? Mm. All of those flavors together. A tempeh. That is so good. Be sure to like this video and you're gonna love it. I'll see you next time.